So, it seems that someone in their infinite wisdom has decided to remake the classic horror comedy film Evil Dead. Now, one thing I've got to say about it immediately, apart from the obvious, is I hope they don't decide to remake the entire fucking trilogy, because the original trilogy was brilliant and should be left as it is. Secondly, the obvious. It's a remake. It's probably going to be over the top violence, too much blood and guts, it's going to probably be your typical up-to-date horror, which is just lots of blood, lots of violence, slasher crap, like Hostel and the last Saw films. Yeah. Plus, as a remake, it's already inferior because it's already been made. Remaking something that's already been made is a daft idea, and you shouldn't do it. I mean, look at the new Nightmare on Elm Street, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street. It was fucking rubbish. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was graphically brilliant, but that's not what makes a horror film. That's not what makes any film. I mean, let's say they took the original Little Shop of Horrors, the old black and white version, remade it in colour with a fucking CGI plant and whatever. It would look probably great, but it'd be fucking rubbish, and nobody in their right mind would want to see it. I mean, they remade The Day the Earth Stood Still, absolute rubbish. They remade The War of the Worlds, absolute rubbish. So they've remade Evil Dead, which is probably absolute rubbish. I mean, they remade Assault on Precinct 13, absolute rubbish. And what I don't get is, once they've remade these films, that's all you see. Every time the film comes on television, or whatever, it's always the new one. I mean, the other day, The War of the Worlds was on. It was the Tom Cruise version. A couple of weeks before that, The Day the Earth Stood Still was on. It was the Keanu Reeves version. A couple of months ago, Assault on Precinct 13 was on. It was the new version. And 2 weeks before that, Assault on Precinct 13 was on again. It was the new version. I haven't seen the original Assault on Precinct 13 with John Carpenter doing the music in 3 years, and it doesn't look like I'm gonna see it for another 3 fucking years either. I mean, let's just start remaking every other film that's ever been made that was really good. Let's remake Suspiria. Let's remake the original Dracula. I mean, someone said there were I heard that they were on about remaking Back to the Future. You can't remake Back to the Future. Back to the Future is a classic film. I mean, let's remake Mars Attacks. No, fuck it. No, I've got it. Let's remake the original Halloween. We've already fucked up Nightmare on Elm Street. Let's fuck up Halloween as well. And then remake Friday the 13th. And fuck up all of those classic old horror films. Let's remake Alien. Let's remake Predator 1. And then remake Predator 2. And then, just for good measure, make a Predator 3, just to make it another fucking trilogy. let's remake Avatar. No, it was shit enough in the first place. If they ever remake Avatar, it's probably going to be better. Which is weird, because normally remakes are shit. But Avatar was so crap in the first place that if they remade it, it couldn't be any worse. But yeah, but remaking Evil Dead, I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, Evil Dead's a classic. I love Evil Dead. I mean, God, how can you remake something like that? It's fucking stupid. I mean, the remake of Nightmare on Elm Street, the new guy that's playing Freddy Krueger, nowhere near as good as Robert Englund. You know, when Robert Englund just appears out of nowhere and goes with his finger knife, you know, it's like he sort of does that. Hi. That's just, you can't beat it, you know. I mean, like, it's not exactly scary, but like, you know, there's, see, horror films should be about not just being scary, you know, but suspense, atmosphere, you know, that sort of thing, you know. Like a jump scare that's just like a dog pops out of nowhere, and then you turn around and he gets stabbed in the guts, you know, that sort of thing, you know. It's like you open the door and there's nothing there, and you turn around and your girlfriend's still there and you go, fucking hell, and you go, and then she says, well, don't do that, you scare the crap out of me, and then you get stabbed in the back, or she gets stabbed in the back, one or the other. You know, that'd be fucking hilarious. It'd also be fucking scary, and the suspense will be there because you'll already be on edge because of the jump scare that his girlfriend just popped out of nowhere and went, hey. You know, like in, it's a bad choice, but like in Scream, where she opens the door and the copper's stood there with the fucking mask in his hand, and she goes, ah, and he coughs. But lately horror films have been all sort of like, let's just have lots of blood and guts, lots of blood and guts, lots of blood and guts. You know, and there's too many jump scares. It's jump scare, jump scare, jump scare, blood and guts, jump scare, blood and guts, blood and guts, jump scare, blood and guts, jump scare, blood and guts, jump scare, jump scare, blood and guts, jump scare, blood and guts, blood and guts, jump scare. Credits, the end. Or is it? You know, every new, like, the latest horror films that have ever been made have always left it open for a sequel. I mean, the original horror films did that anyway. You know, like the one to do with the killer bees, you know. And Alien, you know, pretty much left it open for a sequel. But, like, the new horror films, they deliberately leave it open for a sequel. Like, and they make it so obvious that there's going to be a sequel in about 2 years, or 1 year, or whatever. You know, like when they made like Friday the 13th part 586, saying that they probably will make that many eventually, and like at the end of every single film you still got that as though it's still live, you know, because, you know, it just leaves it open for another sequel. Same with Halloween, you know, they kill him at the end, but then his body disappears, which leaves it open for a sequel. But that's not, I mean, it's obvious, but it's not too obvious, you know. I mean, but I can't think of any obvious ones. Shit. But yeah, there's far too many fucking over-the-top slasher horror films nowadays, and I'm guessing that this new Evil Dead is probably going to be quite a lot like that. One thing I am curious about, and I'm going to have to actually find out, is what the creators, or indeed the cast members of the original Evil Dead, think about the remake. Because it'd be curious to find out. And I was waiting for that. I mean, I talked to the three ladies from the original Evil Dead film. Well, not the original Evil Dead film, but the first Evil Dead film, because the original was called Within the Woods. But from the first Evil Dead film, the first film actually called Evil Dead, there's 3 women in it, you know, and I talked to those women. So I'm going to have to ask them what they think of the new Evil Dead movie. And I will probably upload it as a second video about Evil Dead, to follow on from this one. But in my opinion, it's probably going to be shit, and it's probably going to be shit anyway because it's a remake, and they say it's a sequel. Evil Dead is one of the only, well, one of the only series of films where the sequels haven't made it shit, or the sequels haven't been shit. Other good series include the Aliens quadrilogy, or the Alien quadrilogy, whatever you want to call it. Back to the Future, not a horror series, but yeah. Star Wars, obviously. The Star Trek films. The Godfather films. That's about all I can think of at the minute. There's probably more. We're doing that thing again where I look around, trying to find anything that could lead me to the name of films. The Terminator films, they're good. Predator films to a degree, which doesn't include Predators. And Aliens vs Predator, only the first one was good, but you know, because the second one was fucking stupid. It was mainly in the dark. There's fuck all fighting. But yeah, but don't even get me started on that. So my thoughts on the new Evil Dead is that it's probably going to be shit, and it's going to be shit anyway because it's a remake, and it's probably going to be over the top, blood and guts, violence with too many jump scares, which is not what Evil Dead's about. And it's probably not going to be very fun either. But I'm hoping that at least one member of the original Evil Dead cast, whether it be Bruce Campbell, the guy playing Scott, who no one ever remembers, Ellen Samwise, Betsy Baker, Teresa Tilly, or even, you know, Rob Taper or Sam Raimi, you know, who directed it. You know, it'd be good if one of them just sort of had a cameo somewhere. You know, be great. You know, if they remake it as though it's like pretty much exactly like the original, you know, he had that voice that reads out passages from the book. Maybe they could get Bruce Campbell to do the voice of that or something, like, who knows. That'd be weird. But yeah, the only good thing about a remake, if you can say there's a good thing about a remake, is if they put in a cameo from one of the original cast members. Like the film Starsky and Hutch with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson had the original Starsky and Hutch at the end. You know, it would have been just as good if they put the real Mr. T in the A-Team film. Yeah, you know what I mean. So yes, that's my thoughts on the new Evil Dead. And as always, feel free to give me your thoughts on the new Evil Dead. That even includes if you've seen it, but no spoilers please. Not so much for my benefit, but for other people who might actually want to watch it. And I might watch it in about 3 years, if I feel like it. Or if enough people tell me it's good, then I'll probably watch it. But yeah. Then I'll probably wait for it to come out on DVD, with all the fucking audio commentary and the bonus features and whatever. And then I'll buy it. But yeah, that'll be in about a year, I think. But of course, it might not come out on DVD, it might come out on Blu-ray instead, because they're phasing out DVD players now. We had video recorders for years. DVDs come along and we're phasing out the video recorders. And then just as before we've even had half the time with DVD as we have with video, here's Blu-ray players. What's the fucking point? It's like next year they'll probably bring out a new one that's better than Blu-ray. Then every new film will be released on whatever the new thing is, and Blu-ray, and possibly DVD. Fucking annoying. Well, you get all them special releases in the special box sets of videos, and they're fucking useless now. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I will see you again very soon.